Pasha Pyro, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. No replay. Big boy P.E.P for my peeps. Alright, so how we do this week, how we do. Hope you all did well. Okay. I didn't do a video on Friday, so here's the update for Friday. You know, we had a little bit of a red day on Thursday. Followed that up, was down what? It was a number. It was a magic number, like 777.50. That's what we were down Thursday. Came back Friday with a plus 368 even. So that's great. You know, the goal is $100 to $500 a day. So when you see the huge days, you know, 6,000, 7,000 in a day, 2,500, 1,500 in a day, the goal is still $100 to $500 a day. So that's just in excess of the goal, you know. So I think that's a sign of a extra well played execution that day. And if it, you know, when we get to the level where that becomes the goal daily, then we'll adjust the goals at that point. But for right now, we're looking for $100 to $500 a day. Anything extra than that is a bonus. And so with this, I think we said we dropped down to, when we was down at 700, almost 800, that put us down to about 55. So with this plus 368, we're right under $6,000 for the week. Pretty good week last week overall. So what I want to do today is I wanted to take a moment to talk about candlesticks, because I think some people might benefit from that. There's you know where I'm at with the plays. So there's not like a huge, I got some stocks that I'm looking at, but nothing I want to present at this moment. We can review some stuff. You know, Bingo was up $2 on Friday. RGLS was down 4 cents. I think it actually FRSX was up 4 cents at the end of the day. Dare was down 5 cents. Torch Energy closed 59 cents higher, and then it went like another I don't know, almost 50 cents in the after hours on Friday. So it's up pretty much a whole dollar. SINS SENS was down, or excuse me, up 35 cents. I think it dropped a little bit in the after hours. Trexie still doing its thing. It's up to $6.25 a share. So congratulations to everybody there with the plus 46 cent. Hang on to those. That's gonna do good things. Now in the SPR, Inspire was down a dime. TMDI, Titan Medical, was down 6 cents. Vion was down 4 cents. TNXP was down 18 cents. That's Tonix Pharmaceutical. So we had some red. As you can see, that's what balanced it out and kind of depressed the day a little bit. But even with that depression, we still ended up right in goal, right where we're supposed to be at 368. So it was a good day. Now, CPSH, man, it went up $5.04 on Friday a share. So congratulations to everybody that was in that. I'm gonna tell you what happened, what I did, and I didn't capture that $5 because I bought in a small amount. I think it was like 25, 40, 50 shares, whatever it was. It was small to have, and I had a trail stop on it that didn't trip the next day, but it tripped like the day after that. It went down to like, I don't know, whatever it was over 10% of what I entered. So it tripped that. And I kind of got into some other things, and I didn't look back at that. And it went up $5 and change, which I told you guys from the company breakdown that it was a pretty good opportunity. You know how I feel about, currently about, you know, double digit and triple digit stocks when we can avoid them, right? So that's why I only had a handful of them, you know, less than 50. And what happened was that shortly after that, if not the same time, I found SINT or Syntex, right? SINT. And the beautiful thing about that is at the time, CPSH was at 20. I think we were entered in at $22. And then it dropped down to like $20 and change. Maybe it hit 19 somewhere in that day, something. And that's what triggered my stop loss. But once I got out, I didn't never buy back into it because SINT is a great materials company as well. Although they're not exactly the same, they have some similar characteristics, potentially similar uses. And we caught SINT at, it's currently at $2.95 a share. So that's like a 10 for 1. So if I was looking to buy 100 shares at some point of CPSH, although it may go up and do well, yes, $5, that would have been a $500 a day bonus on that. However, to put that same amount of money into to SINT would give you 1,000 shares. And then when it goes up $5, you get $5,000. You see what I'm saying? So I'm more interested in SINT, not to take away from CPSH at all, but just for the simple fact that we're catching SINT sub $3 a share. All right, CTMX went up 76 cents, so that's a nice one. And CGIX was down 32 cents. So when all that's said and done, we are up 368 on Friday. So let's take a look at the candlesticks here, because I was talking to somebody a while back. Actually, I talked to a couple people about this, but what I find is that a lot of people don't understand candlesticks, and what they're looking at looks like this, right? They're looking at something that looks like this, right? And you got a nice little graph here, right? And you're looking at the line. Okay, well, I guess if I do, it's like this, you know? So you got your line, and you see a line, okay? And you feel like that's informative, okay? Which it is. So, okay, so we're up 3 more cents. All right, cool. So you get this line, and it says that at 12 o'clock, right, the stock was at $2.95. Now, that may be enough information for you, and it may not be, because let's take a look at what the difference is. So when we look at a candlestick, right, I'll get to an image for you in a minute here, but a candlestick defined by Investopedia, right? A candlestick is a type of price chart, all right, used in technical analysis that displays the high, low, open, and closing prices of a security for a specific time or period, all right? It originated from Japanese rice merchants and traders to track market prices and daily momentum hundreds of years before becoming popularized in the United States. The wide part of the candlestick is called the real body, and tells investors whether the closing price was high or low than the opening price, black or red if the stock closed lower, white or green if the stock closed higher, right? So the key takeaways is candlestick charts display high, low, open, closing prices for a particular period of time. You see what I'm saying? Let's skip that. That's what you need to know. So here's the thing, right? When you get into this, all right, it's so much more information than a line that just said 255. I'll get to that in a moment here. So what you can do is this can be it really can be any color you set. You know, if you're trading software, a lot of them gives you options to customize this. So it could be whatever color you want them to be for high, lower or higher movement. But I know mine's originally, and I haven't changed it yet, just because I did some mods to it, and then I was like, you know what, let me put it back. So I think I'll get back to that in a moment. Now, because I've had a lot of time I spent with them myself. So basically, this box here is the movement from, like you see, opening or closing and opening or closing. And what that means is that if the stock was going up, then let's say this would be green. This whole thing would be green. And this would be where it started, let's say that period of time, right? And then if it's going up, it'll be green, and this will be where it actually ended. All right? I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor here, but if the stock is going up, it'll be green, and this will be where it opened. Let's say this represents an hour, right? So at the beginning of the hour, the stock was right here. As far as value, like dollar per share, right? And it did a whole bunch of moving around, and by the time it ended that hour, it was here. It would be green. Okay? Now, if it's coming down, it would be red. So this would be the opening here at the beginning of the hour. And then it would do its moving around, and by the end of the hour, the stock value would be down here. Then this would all be red. Okay? Now, for the tail, that's the highest price during the period. This part up here, okay? And this part down here is the lowest part. These are called the wicks. This is called the candle. This, the whole thing is called a candlestick, but these tails are called the wicks, okay? So basically what happens is this. Let's say the stock is going up. This would all be green, okay? Or whatever color you choose to it if you've customized yours. But let's say it's green. Stock's going up at the beginning of the hour. It's here. What this all would mean is that at some point within the hour, because it's doing this, they show you a line that does this, right? But in reality, during that period of time, it was doing all this up and down motion, and this is what shows you that where it's not captured in the regular line graph. So it actually opens here. At some point in the hour, it hit a high of here, right? Which you can see is higher than the actual ending place for that time period. But also in that period of time, it hit a low of right here. And then by the time it finished, if it's going up, it ended that time period right here. So it came in, bounced around, ended here. If it's coming down, it would be red. It would start the hour here. It means at some point in the hour, it hit this as a low down here. At some point in the hour, it hit this as a high up here. But by the end of the hour, it ended here. All right. And the neat thing is you can actually take this and you can set it to be whatever time period you're looking for. Like here, they're saying it's a day. So you can see this would definitely show you what the opening, whether it's red or green, and the closing based on whether it's red or green. You would also be able to tell the high and the low for the day and then where it ended, right? But you can also set this time period for it to be an hour. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 4 hours. It could be 60 seconds. And then you can see all of the fluctuation within that time period, and it'll be displayed for you in this magical candlestick that allows you to interpret a ton of data in a very short period of time. All right, as far as just observing it. So for me, that is hugely beneficial because it allows me to actually see what's going on with a stock in a way that I wouldn't otherwise interpret it. So if you look at here at SINT, right, we can see that if we go to look at any point here, right, we got these candlesticks, and the red ones mean that they were going down. So the price started here. Like if we zoom in to this one, right? So that means that at the beginning of this candlestick, it was $3.10. Okay. And by the time it ended, this is a 3-minute. I had it set on 3 minutes right now. By the time the end of that 3-minute period, as you can see, it was at 307. So it dropped 3 cents in 3 minutes. But at some point in there, it had a low of 306. So it actually hit 306 and then left that 3 minute period at 307. Okay. And then the next one, it had very little activity because it was basically at 308 the whole 3 minutes. Then it dropped. You see what I'm saying? You can tell all that data from the candlestick. Over here, you had a larger move. It came in like, so from here to here was 3 minute periods. And for these 12 minutes, basically, it was on an upward push. So now, if you're looking at this for days, you know, like you're going to be in for the long term, this may not matter to you. But if you're in it for, okay, I just need a 30-cent move, these may become really important, especially if you switch it to, let's say, 1 minute. You see what I'm saying? So now you got 1 minute data, and it'll tell you what was going on within each 60-second period. Or you could go, like we showed there, 1 day. All right, and you can see what it was doing on a daily situation. Now, my little graphs and stuff that I put in here, my little boxes and stuff, it'll still stay there. And then when the candlesticks, you know, adjust to the new time period, everything gets distorted. So some of the stuff may not fit as perfectly as I drew it on, let's say, another time period candlestick, but it still shows you roughly where I had them at, which comes in handy sometime because I get to see what it's doing at different perspectives, you know? So it really helps me make a much more sound decision knowing what the stocks are doing at various levels of depth of field of view, so to speak. You know what I mean? So if I put this back on like a 3 minute, let's say that's 5 minutes. So I put this back on 3 minute, you can see now everything fits. Because remember this when I said, if we go back and watch the other video, I said, okay, we got this right when it was doing this. I said, okay, I tracked it for a channel if it continues going in an accelerated climb, but I also tracked it for a channel on the long term. And if we go to my 3 minute mark, you can see it fell out of the high channel. It fought, and then it fell right into the groove of my long term channel, which still should put us between $3.14 and $3.50 at a more reasonable pace. Looks like the 16th of February. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's without it, as long as it just keeps the same course that it's on now from this original jump. So here, as we're zoomed out, right, the candlesticks start to almost form a line. You see what I'm saying? And this is like something that I talk to people in life about in other sections of the channel and stuff too, because I tell people that, you know, I'm a man of equations, not the variables. And I actually did a video on that. So if you want to go skip down to one of the other sections where we're covering the etymology and stuff, we'll talk about equations versus variables in there. And what it is that a lot of people, I guess I'll just tie it in real quick. A lot of people are focused on variables, right? And that's because they don't see the whole equation. See, if you zoom in to a certain part of this, like we were, and say we're only focused on this section here, right? And all we can do is, let's say, let me get a little, let's do this here, right? If all we know is what's in this box, right? And we zoom into this, right? And this is why Virgos be by themselves. But a lot of people be so focused on, let's say this, right? You see what I'm saying? And this is all they know to focus on. And this is not an attack. It's just why you may find yourself not talking to some people sometimes, or people that are focused on this box. You know, you're like, man, that's kid stuff. That's kids play. You know what I mean? And you don't really entertain that, and they, you know, whatever, right? You're the outcast, or maybe you're focused on the box and you're wondering why other people aren't. You know, this is what it looks like. So when you come in and this is all you know, these are the variables. So what I mean is that these are the only variables you know to respond to, because that's all that you, let me not say you, they know to respond to, okay? Because that's all they know. But when you zoom out of this, right, and realize that that box is a very, very small part of something much bigger, right? Now it becomes apparent how tiny their world is. And when you're looking at something on this level, and you see that they can't go beyond that little box, you realize that that may not be there may not be much value there for you, or it could be a lot more inconvenience than it's worth, or whatever, right? So when you see things on an equation base, you know, to them, that's only the stuff in that box is true. And this is the funniest thing ever, because people will look at you as if you're let's say, no, I'm not gonna go into the media and all that stuff, but let's say somebody that they trust has told them that the only thing that exists in that world is what's in that box, and they believe them with all their heart, right? Then when you come along and tell them about this whole area out here, or that's at $3.29. So when you come to them and start talking about the possibility of $6 one day this share, you are the liar. You see what I mean? Because you're outside their box, so you must be lying. You see what I'm saying? And then they go around to all their little friends and be like, he or she is lying, and how could that be? They're crazy. You know, we need to stay away from them. And then they isolate themselves in that little box. You see what I mean? So that's what's going on. So if you learn to look at this from this vantage point, the candlesticks become a line. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to tie you into this right here. So when we look at this, right? When we go back and look at this, it looks like a line. Okay? And you feel like you know what you're looking at. You see what I'm saying? But when you go back and you look at this, now it still looks like a line. But what happens is when you zoom into it, okay, let's do that again. Right? When you zoom into it, you see that there's so much more data that the line clearly didn't display that you might want to be aware of, because it might help you. It'll definitely help you in your decision. No matter if you're looking at the stocks from a daily standpoint, a minute standpoint, a weekly standpoint, a monthly standpoint, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. This could help you. So when people want you to just focus on the line or just focus on the box, be wary of those people. You know what I mean? When people tell you that you lying about something that you know, and they're talking about what they believe, right? Let them talk about that. Let them share their beliefs with their little group, because you'll be in knowledge of, while belief means not to know. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to see you operating on hope when you guys are doing this, because we want to get to the point where this is taking care of your family. And that's why on this channel we cover emotions. That's why on this channel we cover etymology. That's why we cover those things. Because once you get in control of your emotions and you know that the values of words and stuff, it'll help you better wrap your mind around certain concepts. And you'll be more in control of yourself and of your outcomes. Okay? So, candlesticks. If you need to, just go back and replay this video. It's literally that simple. So when we zoom in, you see a bunch of detail here, right? You can set the minutes to however long you want, minutes, hours, days, weeks, and just, don't let people keep you in a box. Let them go around to their friends and put them in a box, and they're going to stay in that box together. All right? I want to see you out here looking at the whole equation. I want to see you looking at the whole facts, all the details. Okay? And that may make you the outsider because you may wind up outside of their box. And I need you to understand that is actually a great thing. And I also need you to understand they're gonna be telling you you're crazy. They're gonna be telling you you're lying, and that's fine. Okay? So this is just like anything else. When you talk stocks and shares with some people, they're gonna call you crazy. They're gonna tell you don't know what you're doing. Those people aren't the ones for you. Let them go into their little box with the people in their box. But look for the people that you can help, because you're looking to help change people's lives so that they can change the community. That's what we're doing this for. All right? So to get us all in the best position, take some time, study the candlesticks, see how they work on your graph, get familiar with them. You can change your backgrounds, I'm sure. You can change the color from green to gold if you like, whatever you want to do. And set it up so that it makes sense to you. And then what happens is once it makes sense to you, it becomes really intuitive and allows you to, it's a catalyst for you to make decisions and help see the information you're looking for on these stocks. Okay? Remember, like attracts like. So liars like to sit with other liars. Okay? Don't be fooled. And remember, you're a product of your environment. So the company you keep, iron sharpens iron. So this is why I do this, because if we help each other out, we're going to grow. We're all going to become better and stronger at this. All right? If you hang around childish people, you're going to get better at being childish. All right? If you hang around people that want to believe whatever they're told without investigation, then you're going to become better at putting your trust of your whole life in people that you don't know, and they may not have your best interest in mind. So take the time to do this research, because your life depends on it. Pasha Paro, Y97, thank you for tuning. The replay. Big boy P.E.P for my peeps.